This is Case from Q101. This is a case for a show in which I have coerced management and letting me talk to my favorite bands. We are live at PIQNIQ this year. I am so excited. The artist that I am most looking forward to watching this weekend, it is Esteban from Slowjoy. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm assuming you've been in Chicago before. Is this
Love
a welcome back?
Love it.
What do we like about Chicago?
This is one of my favorite cities on the entire planet. Like, everything looks incredible. It's just, the people are nice. The food is great. Every time I'm here, I have a great time.
I love that. We are hailing from Texas. Is that correct? Where were we
Dallas.
born? How were we raised? Tell me about little Esteban growing up.
I'm from Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Okay.
A little town that, like, our only claim to fame is the Carlsbad Caverns. Yeah, so
okay,
that's
go
like,
off.
nice
Congratulations to Carlsbad.
Thank you. One of the 7 wonders of the world, and that's about it. That's all we got. It's cool. There was not a lot going on there, so you had to learn how to play music and have a good time. So then we ended up in Dallas, and that's where I parked it.
Growing up, did you have a very musical house? Were your parents also playing instruments and things
Absolutely.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a family business. Every single one of my family members learned how to play an instrument. Like, my grandpa was a pastor of this small church, so if someone wasn't there for drums, you had to play drums. It was like one of those like weird. The only good thing I could say about that time in my life is that I got a lot of reps on a lot of different instruments.
All right, so you moved to Dallas. I'm curious, at what point in your life and who was the band? Who's the first band that you heard that made it seem like all this pomp and circumstance that you deal with now would be possible? You know, not just a band that you like, but someone you heard and you went, I think I can do this.
Yeah, I think the first time I listened to a Modest Mouse record, I was like, oh, wow. You can make music. Oh, okay. Isaac Brock is one of the greatest musicians of all time, and it really showed me, like, there are no rules. And that was the first time I really opened up to it.
So as we're recording this, yesterday was the 25th anniversary of The Moon in Antarctica. Their third record,
Incredible album.
Third Planet, What People Are Made Of, all of these classics. I've got to know now the go-to Modest Mouse record and the go-to Modest Mouse song.
So, okay, it switches based on the week, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So this is a long drive for someone with nothing to think about. Is huge. Lonesome Crowded West is another album that I go between both of those. I think Trailer Trash is one of the best songs ever written.
I concur.
And Dramamine are just absolutely incredible songs.
Absolutely.
And I'm really happy for Good News for People Who Love Bad News. I'm glad that happened. It's an incredible album.
It really is.
So I will listen through that all the time, be like, this is a breakthrough, and then I just kind of jump around.
The funny thing with Good News is Modest Mouse did a tour playing that record last year, and the first 3 tracks are World at Large, Float On, Ocean Breeze, Salty, like the 3 singles are up top, and then it's like another good 12 songs, but it's like, wow, they really front-loaded that record.
Entirely, yeah. I saw it. We were on tour and in Brooklyn, and we had a day off when they were doing their Brooklyn Steel show, so I saw that show. It was insane, but yeah, it was crazy that Float On was like the first song they played, and then it was just like, all right.
Yeah, here's 16 more.
And it's so Modest Mouse. So Modest Mouse to be like, you know what, we're playing deep cuts through the end.
Here's what I'm wondering now, as a teenager, let's say, young adult, maybe before you were on the road touring full time, I imagine you just went to concerts and you were like, oh, this band is awesome. This is such a fun time. I'm so glad I'm here. Now that you're a musician full time on the road all the time, do you look at concerts differently when you're not performing? Does it almost take the enjoyment out of them?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I actually really enjoy them when you can take me out of that thought. Okay. Because a lot of times I'm just analytical and just thinking about what amps up there, what's happening, or how the set flows, or even set times, or things along those lines. I just watched Fontaine's DC in Dallas, and it just took me out of it for an hour, and I was like, oh, this is what it felt like to go watch music.
Fontaine's is at a level of locked in right now that I've seen very few bands ever. It's just like, oh, that's what that's going to be like. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Cool.
They're on a wave. I love that band. The other one was Idols. Both of those bands, I'm just in love with them every time I watch them.
So when you put back on your technical thinking cap, who's the band that has the set where you go, that's what I'm gunning for? That's the experience. Is it Fontaine's?
Literally, yeah, Fontaine's and Idols. Every time. I love the fact that Idols can sell 5,000 tickets and still jump in the crowd and have a good time, which is something I love doing. And I love that Fontaine's is just, their music is just so dialed and so beautiful. Both of those bands are just hero bands for me.
I want to talk about your record, your new record, which is out and it's excellent. I'm going to get to that in a second, though, because now I'm curious. As we talk Modest Mouse and we talk Fontaines, and I'm realizing the Venn diagram of our music taste is one giant circle.
Yeah, I love it.
Who are the newer bands right now that you're really into?
Oh, that's so interesting. I've been listening to a lot of Ben Stiller a lot.
Let's talk about Ben Stiller.
So
I'm gonna look in the camera for 1 second. I interviewed them last year at Loudwire. You can watch that interview. The most underrated band going today. I cannot believe they're not popping off in a bigger way. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's the same producer. I just found out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Shame, Ben Stiller, and Fontaines, and like several billion producers are several billion bands that have been produced by this one guy who I am just idolizing right now. So I'm just in love with that sound. Everything that this particular producer does, I'm just in love with. And yeah, that's a band that I've just been really, them and Shame, I've just been listening to.
Shame's another good one.
Love Shame.
There
Love
you go.
Shame, yeah.
All right, we're gonna hang out. This is the start of a blossoming friendship. You have a new record out. I wouldn't dare say the name of it because it's a long name and I'm gonna butcher it. So please, Esteban, tell us what's the name of the new Slow Joy record.
A joy so slow, at times I don't think it's coming.
I love it. I'm curious, what was the impetus for naming the record what you did?
Well, I took a page out of Isaac Brock's playbook, first off, and just doing like a very long title. But me and my wife were just driving one day, and we were just thinking about album titles and just talking, and I knew I wanted to do something that was like a play on Slow Joy. And I just kept thinking about, we were just going through this interesting time in our lives where we were like, man, when is this going to let up? And we were like, it's going to come eventually. So sometimes I don't think it's coming, but it's going to come eventually.
I think you've hit that point. Let me ask you this. I've never asked an artist this before. Has being married changed your creative output at all? Has it been an inspiration? Has it been a hindrance? What's that like?
No, it's the best.
It's the best?
No, we're just so locked in. It's super cool. I just feel very supported in everything I do. And yeah, I write a lot of songs about her, so there's that. But she's like very, very cool with like just me just being creative and all of it. We just talk about it a lot, and like she's a reader too. So I'm an idiot. So she's wonderful with just showing me paragraphs of things that will just inspire me. And I got into Bukowski because of her, and like just became a better writer because of how well read she is and how dumb I am.
Do you ever look at a book and you're just like, oh my God, somebody did that?
Every day of my life.
That's exhausting.
I think about people who read that book and I'm like, someone did that.
It's like a whole other part of it.
Like,
oh my God.
How are you doing that? Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about this record. When was it recorded? Where was it recorded? What was that process like?
Last year, I started it around this time, and then I had several tours in between, so I would go for about a month. I'd come back. I was out for like a week or two, and I would come back. The process is really fun. I wrote a lot at home. I wrote a lot with some of my friends out in L.A. We recorded the bulk of it in Springfield, Massachusetts, at a place called Ghost Hit Recording Studio. It was a wild place. It was this old like church that got converted into a studio, but the old churches out in the East Coast are connected to old burial grounds.
Okay.
So you had these like 1776 bodies just right next to you, and it was a residency studio, so you slept just in that. It was a weird vibe.
That sounds really spooky.
It was so spooky. I'm not gonna lie. But it was cool. It locked you into the sessions, and then we did a couple songs at Sonic Ranch, and that was. I'm from New Mexico. That was about 2 hours away in El Paso. We used to go there to go get school clothes. So it was like I was home for a little bit.
Okay, really? That's
really
cool.
Yeah.
What's it like recording at home? Was that a separate source of inspiration there?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I think just being around those grounds and like being around my dirt, it just makes sense. Yeah.
That's beautifully said. I always like asking this when a new record's out. What was the song on the album that gave you the most trouble?
Oh, wow. Yeah. The last one, For You, For Me, For Everyone, sounds entirely different than it was, even when we left the studio.
So what did it start like?
So I started with just some guitar chords, and I knew I loved the guitar chords and the melodies, and I knew I loved what it was talking about, but we just kept trying to fit the other instruments into it, and we couldn't make it work. At one point, there was this like more U2-y kind of sounding drum beat, and it just didn't feel right. Then the song wasn't going to make it. And then I asked the producer to send me the stems, and I deleted everything and just like took a playbook out of like Lord's playbook and just had this like going on kick drum that like felt like you were building up to something, but the thing that you were building up to was what was said. And it ended up being one of my favorite songs on the album.
I love that. Q101 right now, we're playing Gruesome. It's such a great song. I am curious if you could explain to the Q101 listeners the process behind that song, how that song came to be, the beautiful final product that it is.
Yeah, that one came out of nowhere. So I have one of my best friends lives in LA, so I go write with him often. And then I was set up to write with a couple of other friends there that I'd never, so now friends. At the time, they were just new people. And it's kind of weird when you jump in a room with some new people.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to them about how I just didn't want to feel jaded anymore. I was feeling very jaded, which is like the chaos of the world. And we just created this song, and I had a voice memo of me just mouthing things over that guitar line. And I was like, and just kind of mouthing it. And then when the line, if I lost myself, tell me, it just kind of took everything. And I love the idea of saying, like, we don't have to get to the point where it feels gruesome in order for us to, like, feel anything.
I think beautifully said, beautiful song, excellent job there. Is there anything, as I push this tarp behind us, that was right terrifying. It really came in on us there.
It was engulfing on us.
Is there anything on the record now that it's been out for just over a month where you're like, if only I would have done that, I would have been so much happier with this whole thing? Or are you pretty content with it as a whole?
I think it was a first album, and just making an album is such a behemoth. So there's a lot of things I will do differently in the future, but I am so proud of this album that it's perfect for the time, it's perfect for everything that I wanted it to do, and it just makes me excited for the future.
Now that you've had this first album done, are you already in the mindset of like, what's album 2 looking like? Or can you actually sit and enjoy like, oh my God, I made an album?
No, I'm already writing for the next album.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I can't stop. Yeah. I actually talked to my manager on this drive. I was like, get me in the studio as quickly as possible. I've been looking at producers, that's why I have like a wealth of knowledge about this stuff, is because I've been listening to records nonstop, writing, trying to figure out what this next record is, and I finally found it, and I'm just so excited.
I love that. Let's end with this. I love when a band has a tangible goal, and you're a guy that seems hungry, you seem motivated. I love that. Obviously, more records sold, bigger stages, that whole thing. But is there anything, let's say in the next year, that you're really hoping that you as the frontman of Slowjoy are able to accomplish?
I think, honestly, just adding more friends. Like, I don't consider anybody who listens to me fans, just friends. So I just can't wait to meet more homies and just really, really grow that and just be more impactful. But I really want to write the record. I can't stop. When you listen to Surfer Rosa, when you listen to Nevermind, when you listen to these albums that are just so impactful, I just want to write that album so bad. So that is. If in a couple years I get that is great.
Let's end it there. Beautifully said. Look into that camera. Tell us where we can find Slowjoy, how the people can help. Tell them what they need to know.
Yeah, at Slowjoy and all the socials. I'll be on tour. I have a website. I'm sure you can find around there, slowjoysomething.com, but it's there, yeah.
I love that. As for me, I'm on Instagram. That's @_Case Lowe, CaseLowe. New interviews of A Case For every Monday on Q101's YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, go back to the archives. I've talked to Knocked Loose, I've talked to Spiritual Cramp, I've talked to Ben Stellar, who came up earlier. Check out those archives, and don't forget again to give this video a like. In the meantime, thank you so much.
Oh yeah.